Hello, y'all. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Live Show. I'm Bob, your host, and thank you for dropping by. Well, it seems we've gotten off to a great start here in our season four. Here at TNL Productions and the Tuesday Night Live Show, tonight's show will begin in a few moments with our featured guest that will join us right here from North Texas. Just want to remind everyone that the opening of tonight's show is brought to you by Sat Bob's. The legend lives on. We are Tuesday Night Live. Welcome back, everyone. It is Super Tuesday. That's right. I did my duty today. I hope everyone else got out and got a chance to cast their strike on the mark somewhere. Last week's featured guest hit a home run with his singing performance. If you missed that, we'll go back and watch that segment. It was quite entertaining. One thing is certain: the more we share, the better we all become. It would be such a shame if it wasn't for this guy who you all know. I'm not speaking of Spangle. We're talking about Scott Seriton. He's going to be joining us tonight. So at this point, let's go ahead and bring Scott in.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Bob, great to be here. How you doing? How's the weather in your side of the woods?
Well, it's thunderstorming, raining. Got big storms all around us. So far, we've been lucky. Hadn't had any hail or any strong winds, but we do have a chance later on tonight. It's supposed to rain kind of all week long. I know you're not that far north of us, so how's your weather?
It's pretty mild, actually. It was cool this morning. We've had about 60 this afternoon and just a little bit of wind, but other than that, it's been actually a pretty nice day. So I'm blessed to be here.
Well, and those that may be wondering where Spangle's at tonight, well, he's off on the East Coast, on the East Coast wing with his big trailer, and he's out on the road tonight. So out
He's
on the
headed
road.
home. Yep, he's headed home.
So, yep. All right. So our show producer, who has always given her all to the cause, please say hi to Angela Mack in the comments, if you will. Here's a thought. You two want to be too cool for school? Check out fancylees.com for all our TNL swag. You can get mugs, you can get hats, you can get shirts, you can get lots of cool stuff over. Go over and check them out. Fancylees.com. All right. And for those who may not be able to watch weekly, you can always go over to YouTube and watch us, put us on your big screen, enjoy us that way. The Tuesday Night Live Show 1225 is our URL over there. We also have a show on Mondays, the Bob Randall and Company Show. It's also a live show. We do record it. We have our own YouTube channel over there. Just search us out. If you can't find us there, of course, we're on Facebook. All right, so if you missed a single show and you just don't want to, remember to subscribe, like, comment, share. If you subscribe, you can also click on notifications. I know that's kind of a deal that most of us don't like to do. I don't like to do it, but if you was to, have trouble remembering what time we come on, you could always do that. Anyway, the first half of the Tuesday Night Live Show Trivia is brought to you by School of Santa's 2024. It's hosted by Spangle. Again, he's out on the road tonight. We'll be back with us next week. And that is in Branson, Missouri, where fun and education meets.
Noah Lott reporting for TNL Chatterbox News. This year School of Santas will be held July 18th through the 21st in beautiful, picturesque Branson, Missouri, right in the heart of the Ozark Mountains. If you've been before, then you know all about the 4 days of festivities that School of Santas is best known for. Each year the host facility, American by Wyndham, Branson and Conference Center is home to over 100 clauses for the weekend and is centrally located in the middle of everything Branson. If you have never attended SOS, well, bless your heart, you are missing out on one of the Claus community's premier educational opportunities. For more information on price and to ensure your place at the next School of Santas, contact Tanya Lay at Branson Ticket and Travel today at 800-432-4202. Again, that's 800-432-4202 and get registered today. I'm Noah Lott reporting. Now back over to you guys in the TNL studio.
All right, Scott, this first trivia question kind of ties in with our other guest that we'll have on later on the show, Jessica. So let's go ahead and throw it out there and see how many can come up with the answers for this one.
Okie dokie. Blank, also known as the North Star, lies about blank above the North Pole. The North Star remains stationary above the north axis year-round, serving as an essential navigation marker. That's blank is known as the North Star, lies about blank above the North Pole. That's a tongue twister, Bob. The North Star remains stationary above the northern axis year-round, serving as an essential navigation marker. And since this is for a chance for a scholarship, am I correct? Drawing.
That's correct. Your name goes in the hat for the drawing for the School of Santas, which will be coming up in later this year in July, and we'll wait about 6 weeks before the date of the school to go ahead and draw the names out of the hat. So you get a chance to put your name in the hat if you win this for that drawing.
Okay,
and I hope that this is going to be a little bit easier than what we've been throwing out on Mondays and Tuesdays. My producer got on to me yesterday. She says I need to simplify things.
Well, she's probably right, Bob.
Yeah,
but
she said
anyhow, a lot of new things going to be at School of Santas this year, so I hope people will sign up. I don't know that there's a whole lot of seats left, but there are a few. And the thing about it is we're asking you to bring stuff to decorate your room door this year. I think we're going to have a little contest. So just
right.
I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag a little bit. Please don't tell Spangle I did that. But anyhow, shall we move on?
Very quiet.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, our featured guest tonight grew up in Texas, however, was born in Niagara Falls, New York. His heritage is Celtic, and he is often seen at events in the Claus community wearing the traditional Celtic kilt. He now resides, like I said, in North Texas with his wife and daughter, and has been too many of the training sessions in the Claus community. Some of this stuff is tongue twisters. I'm here to tell you, please put your hands together and give a warm welcome to Santa Russell Hurd.
Hello, how are we doing this evening? I finally made the show.
Yeah, it's good to have you on.
Before we start, I've got something that I've learned in my travels, and I was going back and studying it today. Hoksa Julia. It's Finnish. It's from Lapland, and it means Merry Christmas.
There you go. I told you this show was going to be educational.
Yeah, there we go.
Off to a strong start already, that's for sure. Well, Russ, we been wanting to get you on for a couple of seasons, and schedules conflicting. You're a busy man. We're busy, so we was finally able to nail down a time and get you in here, and we are so glad we did. Of course, I guess you would say lucky because you don't live but a rock's throw from where I am, and you and I get together and with the families and go out to eat and do things together at times, which we need to do, by the way.
Yeah,
it's been a while, sure. But again, we've been busy.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
so let's get started with the interview here. We're so excited, like I said, to have you, and
we're excited to be here. Thank you.
We hear all about your kilt wardrobe and your involvement with the Clan Claus Society. What is Clan Claus? Tell our viewers what that is.
So Clan Claus is an organization that promotes things of Christmas, Santa Claus, and things that are Scottish. There were many Santa Clauses that have Scottish background. McMaster's is a very good Scottish name, and it just put the two together. The concept started on January of 2008, and it was formalized on June 1st of that same year, 2008. Although, from my understanding, nobody understood where the name Clam Claus came from. Once it was there, Kona grabbed it. Kona Gant, he's the founder of the organization, went with it, and it's where you see it today. We have two tartans now, and they are called kilts, unlike what Spangle calls them. They're not skirts; they're kilts. And there are two tartans. One is the Claus of the North Pole, which is what I consider like a dress tartan. You wear it to the fancy stuff. And then the other one is called Santa's Workshop, and it's a little bit more green and a little bit more rustic. You'd probably wear it like in a common day thing, or you can even work it with it, I suppose, as well. But it's been around since 2008, and we try to get into most of the Scottish games and where we can. Some of them don't recognize Clan Claus as an official clan like you would McDonald or Stewart or anything like that. But it is opening up more where we can do that. We certainly make a presence at all the Scottish games, and like you've mentioned, at some of the Santa functions as well. I think one year down at one of the Lone Star things, I had my pipes with me, and we had an impromptu wedding. There was a wedding. The people actually got married, and they wanted me to play. So that was a fun time there, and other events as well too. It's just been an honor to be able to do that and bring that element to the Christmas community.
That's for sure. Very cool. What was your inspiration in becoming a professional Santa, Russell?
Well, that has an interesting start, actually. And like St. Nicholas, it started with the church, only there was a performance I was doing at church as Moses, actually. And it was a few months before I retired from the military. And my wife said I did such a great job with the beard and everything that, Christmas was coming, and why didn't I be Santa? So my Mrs. Claus is the one that actually inspired me to do that. And I told her, I said, most things that I do coming from a military background, I'm going to investigate it, and I'm going to go in whole heart. I'm going to do everything I can to educate myself to become the best Santa in this particular instance as I can. And so I've been doing it for a short time, 7 years, but I've been in the We Are Santas book that Ron Cooper did a few years ago. I made that book somehow, and one of the top Santas. And I recently became a Knight of St. Nicholas. And so in the short time that I've been a Santa Claus, I've experienced a lot of things in that short period of time. So it's been an amazing ride so far, and I can only give credit to where credit's due. Gordon was one of my early mentors. Bob was one of my earlier mentors, and the success that I've had in anything I've done, I just gotta, thank you guys for being there, and it just inspires me to push it forward to the next Santa's coming up. We always share and give out our information where we need, or when people ask us, and it's just been an honor to be able to do that. For sure.
I have a question just to kind of throw in on this is, Russell, do you primarily work in private homes and private home visit, or do you work at a big box store? What is your primary spot?
Although it's been mostly mall work, and I've gone to different malls for different reasons. It's mostly been mall work, but I have done some corporate things and some private home visits and things like that. So I've been well versed in all the aspects of how to be a Santa, and I would let everybody know, if you're solely doing home visits, to maybe try a mall thing at one time, or just so that you can become a well-rounded professional Santa, because that's what you're looking to become, the best performer that you can be, and a representation and the portrayal of St. Nicholas or Santa Claus, either or, for sure.
Very cool. We hear at a younger age you had a very special moment the very first time you were asked to be Santa. Can you tell us about the special moment that occurred in your teens?
Yeah. So like I said, when I was first starting out, I totally forgot that many years ago that I was the Santa at the manger at our church. And it was an amazing experience reflecting back on it, because I wasn't expecting to do that. They just say, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, well, sure. And I will say this, at 19, you don't really have a beard. So it was this old powdered beard that I had to make sure that the powder didn't get all over the suit and on the, baby Jesus and everything like that. So it was an experience. You had to use sprays and things like that, but it was an amazing thing. And that experience, as I understand, touched a lot of people, because, you're representing, in the Santa oath, we say that we know the real reason for the season. And, that is just a testament for what that was. It was showing the best gift that's been given, and that's in the form of Jesus Christ. He's been the best gift for humanity, to give us hope and for a future. So yeah, it was an amazing thing to recall that as I'm progressing in my Santa career. It was an amazing thing to remember that, for sure.
Very good. Before we move along here, I need to go back and address something real quick with the trivia question. We've got a handful of people who have got the name of the North Star correct, but the distance has not gotten yet. Let me give you a clue. The distance we're looking for is in light years from the North Pole. So check that out. See if you can come up with that answer. Go ahead and put both answers in, the name of the star and the distance, if you do come up with the second portion of that. That way we know you're official.
Bob, we
All
don't
right, moving right along here.
We don't want them to
Russ,
mistake those light years for heavy years.
what's that, Scott?
They don't need to mistake the light years for heavy years.
No. All right, so share with us what it was like the first time, Russell, that as a true professional, once you'd gotten your schooling and you went out, and that very first gig when you donned the red suit. Tell us about that experience.
Oh my goodness. So I think that I experienced everything you possibly could experience. Well, not everything, but certainly a lot of everything as a Santa. The first time I donned the suit as a professional was, like I said, my wife inspired me to do it, was to be Santa at my daughter's elementary school. She was in the second grade, and it was a British themed Christmas. So that was interesting. I went as an American Santa, but the room was all British stuff. So as I'm walking through the halls, you see the kids peering out through the glass. Oh my gosh, is that him? Is that him? And yeah, it is him. And so we made it to the class, and it was just fun, just dealing with the second graders, handing out gifts and everything like that. And as we were finishing up and leaving, the special needs kids were there. The teachers saw me in the room. They knew where I was at. So they lined up all the special needs kids there, and we just had a fun time. And I knew it was going to be busy. So I had oh my gosh, 500 candy canes, the little mini ones to hand out. And what I didn't project would happen was my departure time was at the time of lunch. So the only exit was through the cafeteria, filled with kids eating lunch. So I'm like, we got to do this because I have to leave. It's time to leave. And the teachers didn't like me for it, but the kids were like, Santa. So, but we had enough candy canes, and we were able to settle them down, and it was just a fun photo shoot. So I had to deal with all the different ages of kids from kindergarten to fifth grade, and the special needs at lunchtime, disgruntled teachers that I messed up the order that I had the kids in. And so it was a fun time, and it was just amazing. The first time I knew then that if I could handle all of the dynamics that happen at an elementary school, that I would certainly be able to deal with anything that would come my way in the future. And that has been the case. And it's been more good than not. There are some times, but y'all know that. But it certainly has been fun and a blessing to be able to portray Santa Claus to a lot of different people. And surprisingly, these days, in the last year or two, I've noticed an upswing in a lot of diverse cultures actually visiting Santa. So it's been very interesting and fun for sure.
It has, and I love that story of you in the lunchroom. You've told it a couple of times in some of the Sat Bob classes that you've attended, and
Yeah,
it's always fun to hear that story. So
yeah.
uh, let's move on and tell us what has been your most touching moment as a Santa.
Um, well, actually, there's two. I'll tell you both of them. The first
Okay.
one was, man, whew, I think it was the very first cancer kid. They didn't have cancer at the time, but the parents knew that their child had, and um, they asked me privately. They're like, "Can you visit her out of season as Santa?" And so of course, said yes. When and where? Just let me know. And it was at Children's Hospital in Dallas, and so that was an amazing time. Have photos. I still have photos of that. I've lost touch with them a little bit, but what I see on Facebook that she has it's gone in remission and she's a normal kid again and having fun and playing. So it was just being able to be there more for the parents because the child, they're experiencing life. It was more for the parents, and it was a blessed time to be able to do that for the parents. And of course, no cost. I mean, you just let me know where and when, and I brought gifts to her, and it was just amazing time to bless the family and the child as well. The second one, and I apologize if I cry for this, but it was so touching. It was a reunion photo that we had. The kids were small, and now they had grown, but the one child that was not there was in front of Santa, and the father was a pastor, and he didn't want to do Christmas anymore because how could God take his blessed child? And I'm like, Lord, how can we help this gentleman to get back into Christmas and celebrate your birth? And so what the Lord, in my experience, what the Lord had told me was to say this, that the Lord took her at a time when he wanted to share Christmas personally with her. And he cried, I cried, the other siblings cried, we hugged it out, and he said, there's not another Santa that I've known that would have done this and shared that blessing of what Christ had done in the family, and he could celebrate Christmas again. So we brought a pastor back into the fold, and so that to me was my most touching moment. So I get emotional about it all the time, but I mean, we all have those times that we have. So you guys understand what it's like.
Yeah,
It's
I've
means so
experienced the
much
same
to be
thing
able
at the
to do that.
mall, and yeah, we're human.
Yeah,
We have emotions and feelings just like everyone else. And when you've made that personal connection with a child or a family, something like that happens, it really weighs heavy on you. I know for me, every year, knowing they're going to come back with the pictures of
yeah.
the little boy and the family with T-shirts on in his memory, and I look forward to it each year, but I know I'm going to cry, so I just go ahead and get the tissue ready.
For me, and you have the mothers that come, like you said, with the photo that's lost a child, and everybody trusts Santa to be that wholesome listener to somebody that's dealing with a difficult time, and we've all been there.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it special to be able to be a Santa Claus that can be able to do that and bring hope and peace and love to some people that are really needing it at a time when they're supposed to be joyful.
It'll put something back in your heart. It renews your spirit in a lot of things.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
You got me teary-eyed, Russell.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but I mean, because we've all have our moments where
Yeah.
our hearts touch, but it's also blessed too, because we know that what we're doing comes from something higher than ourselves to be able to then do that for the people that are around us. It's like you
You know,
said, the reason for the season. We know the reason for the season.
Well, God works through all of us in his own
For
way.
sure. For
well,
sure.
and a good point to think about is, I know for myself, and I'm sure you guys may, feel the same way, but going into becoming a professional Santa, I didn't think about those type of situations. I thought it was always going to be fun and games and rosy and, joyful. And I never thought about that side until it happened that first time. And
Oh yeah,
well, I tell you, it really changes your perspective.
it does. It does. And I've often told people it's not a profession; it's a mission.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a mission field, and we do that. We bring love, joy, and hope to people around us all year round. I mean, when they see us 365, they'll, "Are you Santa?" And you're like, "Shh." You know,
We're doing
and
God's
they
work
get
in a
it. They get
roundabout
it.
way. Is what I always like to say.
They get it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
on another note, Russell, what has been your most serious or embarrassing moment as Santa?
Well, I hate to say this, but it was in Bob and I's neck of the woods. There was a certain mall that yeah, I was my elves were not doing what they're supposed to do, and I was filmed using the potty as Santa in my suit, and it didn't make me very happy. And it was kind of embarrassing, and being embarrassed equals anger, but I try not to I let the managers know what had happened, and after it happened, the elf's like, "Where were you at?" And I'm like, oh, I was here being filmed. So we have those tough time, those difficult positions that we find ourselves in from time to time, and you still have to be professional. And even in that, people may or may not be watching. How we react and respond to that, and we still have to be professional. And I was, to my training, I was. I didn't want to be, but I was. But it certainly was an embarrassing and difficult situation to be in. I don't wish that on anybody.
I mean, you kind of touched on it, but I don't think you really told what really happened there. This is the restroom incident where.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and share that because I think it's important, Russell. I mean, I know it's something that a lot of folks don't think about happening, but again, if you happen to have to, I mean, if you're having an emergency, you have to go to the restroom, you have to go. And but
Well,
then to be followed into the restroom by someone that was devious enough to do what I'm going to let you tell it.
you would think that the people that are working with you, the elves and such, when they're there to protect your interests, that they're going to be doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. And I'm not going to disclose the name of the place that it was. It just was at a mall environment, and it was my few break times that we get. It was one of those, and I couldn't find my elves anywhere. And they what I found out was they were on their lunch break, but one of them should have been leading, watching my back. And I just
escort you.
It's like you said, though. I mean, when you got to go, you're either going to go in your outfit or make it to the bathroom. And it was critical mass time, and I just I made a decision, and I took it into my own hands, which I probably should have waited. But I'm not getting a UTI for anybody. We don't get paid enough for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
at that point, my health was at risk.
Still didn't hit on what really happened. So, I mean, I'm gonna leave that up to you if you want to tell what.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, they were supposed to walk me to the restroom. I went in there, and he left to go to eat lunch. And apparently, somebody observed Santa going into the bathroom, and here he is, a young man, and he's asked. I'm in the facilities, and he's asking me if I can. Oh, hey Santa, what am I getting for Christmas? And I'm like, yeah, I got a package. We can give it to you. But I'm like, excuse me, sir, I'm indisposed right now. If you can wait a minute and wait outside, we can talk about this. But I'd rather you not be in here with me while I'm trying to use the facilities. And he just kept asking questions and didn't want to leave, and was becoming a little bit aggressive. And so I finished what I was doing, and as I was walking out, he still had the camera right in my face, trying to get a reaction. And I washed my hands, and as I was leaving, he still had that camera right there following me through the whole thing. And as I opened the door and this guy's filming me, there's the elf. Oh, where were you at, Santa? And I'm like, had to go. Where were you? You were supposed to be watching me as I was going and running defense for me, and here we are. We got filmed. You know what?
That just goes to show you that everyone has a cell phone, and every cell phone is a camera.
It is.
Not only a snapshot, but a video. So you got to be careful and watch your surroundings. And that
Yeah.
was the point I was wanting to make.
Well, for sure. Yeah. He had his phone. Yeah. And it was nonstop. He wouldn't stop. He was asking questions, and I still maintained my professionalism. But I mean, I'm human too. I was getting a little agitated, but you still got to grin and bear it.
Yeah, I had a similar thing happened to me, and I just after the gentleman insisted his son walk up to the urinal where I was at and talk to me about
Yeah.
Christmas, I finally just turned
Yeah.
around and I said, in a very stern voice, please go stand over by the basin, the sink, and when I wash my hands, I will address your son. But
Yeah.
right now, please step back away from me.
Yeah. And that's
Sometimes
where, if you do have, elves or whoever is supposed to be helping you and being your wingman or whatever, you got to make sure that they're doing what they're doing, and or have your changing area and your restroom in the same area where you don't have to worry about it being split like that. Because I was changing in another area and the bathroom was way across the other place.
Yeah, my first
So
couple of seasons at the mall was that way. I had to use the public restroom because my dressing room was right in the door, right at the end of the hallway.
and
And
you
it was
may
the only restroom facility. And now I've got a room with the restroom, a private room, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But
and I would even dare say put that in your contract too, that your changing and facilities of the restroom is in the same place. And
point.
other of these type malls are different. Some have them both, the changing in the bathroom in the same place. Some of them don't. But
right,
you just need to make that clear distinction in your contract. Even if you're used, like in our instance, we have an agent. Make sure the agent is very aware that those are separated, and then they can go to bat for you on making that change in the contract.
yeah,
For sure.
Well, your first few seasons, Russell, you sat in a big box sporting goods store located in North Texas. After that first season, what was some of the things you learned from that experience?
Well, one, to make sure your help is doing what they're supposed to be doing. But you learn some of the things that are acceptable and not acceptable to say, do, to how you hold the children, hold the children, or there are things you don't say and do say to the parents. You can have fun and joke around with the parents and everything, but sometimes even I have gotten a little close to, ooh, probably shouldn't have said that, because dad's like, thanks, Anna, and I'm like, okay, I won't say that again. Sometimes it's okay to take it to the line, but you got to be careful what you say and do. Keep it professional, and if you don't know how to banter with the parents, just leave it alone. Do your thing as Santa, interact with the children, and let it be that. But as you do gain experience, as I have, you learn what to say and what not to say to parents, children, how you hold the children, I was unprepared for this. This is one of the things I learned, that grandma really loves Santa Claus a lot. So, the septuagenarian, octogenarians, they're like, he's about my age and he's saying, I'm like, no, I have a Mrs. Claus. And just like I know when you're sleeping, I know you're awake, she has that same ability. So she's watching me doing my thing. So, it's, you got to be careful. And especially, I was not prepared. We don't talk about that in some of our schools, though, about being aware of the grabby grandmas. It's
I brought it up a couple of times in a couple of Stat Bob's classes when it was something that was mentioned, and I would say, "Oh yeah, let me tell you about this. How
Yeah.
handsy grandma can be," or
I've had
something.
I've had them think it's okay to come up and kiss me, and they have, and I'm like, they're quick. They'll get you before you can react. But it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of learning, you are an alumni and a multi-graduate of Sat Bob's. I've been
Yes.
into my class many a times, and we always appreciate your input that you have while you're there because you've been through the class, and with the experience that you have, you always add to my class. Talk about not only Sat Bob's, but some of the other different educational experiences that you've been to, and what are some of the most important things that you've learned from schooling that you can apply in your portrayal?
Well, I will say this: Sat Bob was one of the first ones I've gone to, and learning the business of being Santa, from the makeup, the outfits, and contracts and things like that. I would say Sat Bob's, and I'm not just saying this; it's top notch. It's comparable, if not better than some. And there are other schools that have things that you don't have, but
Right.
I've been to. I'll just say Susan Mesco School. I don't want to get in trouble with her because I love her to death, but you got to be careful. I've been to Spangle's class. I went to there once. I've been to last year. I went to the St. Nicholas Institute. That one's really good. I would suggest it is unlike any other in that it is religiously focused on St. Nicholas, and it has the elements that you educate yourselves with from the business and makeup and things like that. But it is very heavy religious. So if you're not into that, I would suggest doing something else. But if you are, or if you really want to learn about St. Nicholas and his life, that's a good one to go to.
Yeah, Jim Langley goes to that every year. He was probably there with you this year.
Yeah, he was, and I'm probably going to go back this year. And it's just it's more like a retreat. If you've been going to Santa schools, and it's in October, so it's like right before we really start go to that one, because it is. I mean, they provide food and a room and all this other stuff, and you don't have to do anything but just listen to them, and they'll feed you and put you in a bed, and it's really awesome. It's not like you have to pay for a hotel. It's all encompassing. What you pay for is for all of that, room and board, and you learn about St. Nicholas, and it is really an intense study about St. Nicholas. You will learn everything you need to know about St. Nicholas from that class. And I
You've
was
also been to C.W. Howard, haven't you?
Yeah, C.W. Howard. Yes, I've been to that one, and that's like the Harvard. I mean, everybody says, and it is. I love their little reindeer trainer. I love getting in there and shaking the reins and getting the picture with that. And when I went, the Brothers Claus were there. So I think either one or two or both of them show up every once in a while, and those guys are great. And
Oh yeah.
Just having all the brotherhood. There's a lot of us that go to that school, and it's been around, and one of the best for a reason. They take you to dinner. They take you to Bonners. If you've never been to Bonners, it is awesome. We have something like that here in Arlington, or it is Arlington, right? The Texas.
It's considered Arlington Decorators Warehouse.
Yeah, Decorated Warehouse. But Bronner's is a little bit older and has more of a selection of stuff. But
I think Bonners is also geared to a lot of the commercial sets for malls.
Yeah, they do, but we have something like that. It's not there yet, but I think it will get there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've been to a lot of different schools, and every one of them has their thing that you go there for that, and because everybody can teach about business and how to dress and makeup and all that stuff. But I like the diversity of explanations. Everybody has different techniques for doing everything, and when you make the rounds like that, it fleshes your character out even more, because over here I learned about St. Nicholas, and there's some things that I can glean from that. You have the contracting stuff that I really like and enjoy from Sat Bob's. Spangle got some different things. He brings in somebody different just about every year, and you can learn from that. And so you just of all the different classes and things you learn, it just helps you become a better, well-rounded professional Santa. And
Made you the Santa you are.
it made me the Santa I am today. And me personally, I know when to wear makeup. What suit is best for which environment that you're going to. Are you going to be outside, inside? Do you need a fan? Can you tolerate not having a fan? Sometimes you have to deal with that. You don't have a fan. How do you deal with that? So there are different facets of fleshing out your character and being able to endure and understand and react to different things. When you have the knowledge and it's there, you can better prepare yourself for the environment that you're about to be part of. I
Well,
will say
speaking of
this,
a fan,
one thing that I haven't done yet, and I hope to do at some point, is be in a parade. I know I've heard some things that parades are not all they're cracked up to be, but yet I would still like to do one.
speaking of a fan, even a fan don't do the Easter Bunny any good.
Yeah, no, for certainly. Yeah, you're well, and to that point, I went to Disney World, Florida, this past year, and I'd never been, and seeing the people in the costume, I guess it has to be contracted because because it was during the summer, every 15-30 minutes they were getting taken out and drink water and cooling off and
Yeah.
everything. So it was like,
Probably change actors inside the
yeah,
suits, and I'm sure they probably wear the little collars that has the fans in them and the waistbands that have the fans in them, which is a good tip if anyone's going to portray a mascot style full suited
yeah.
character. Look into getting those little air conditioners that they sell. They're well worth it, they say.
I will say this, excuse me, I have used those cooling vests that I forget the name of them. But you know what I'm talking about, because they were there at
Therm Apparel.
yeah, that's it.
Too late.
Those are great. There it is, Therm Apparel. Yeah,
Yep,
they're outstanding. If you don't have those, you
they
need to get
are.
some. You need to
Yeah.
To
get
me,
some.
they're the best.
Get a few of them because you rotate them. Every couple hours you rotate, and you want to have enough
Yep,
of them, and they're reasonably priced too. I've got like 2 or 3 sets, and they're amazing.
they
I,
are.
I
Yeah,
totally recommend that.
they've saved Scott's let's just say life a time or two.
Yeah, those are great. I mean,
I've got a
those
black
are-
one and a white one now.
yeah, I've got all mine are white ones, but I mean, they keep you cool and they're great. And you can put them up with the shoulder harness or take them off, or you can put 2 or 3 of them Velcro them together. They're very versatile and they're
I was going to
awesome.
say versatile, very versatile. That's the
Yeah, they
key.
are. I can't speak highly enough about those. So yeah, get yourself some if you don't have them. If you know, you know.
She's got some new items that are some wrist straps and a headband and a waistband all the way around, and some new stuff coming down the road. I mean, the wristband she put on me at Stones in San Antonio, and I had it. Talking about bringing your temperatures down in a hurry. It did.
And Christmas in July is right around the corner. I hate to say it, but it's like right there.
Yeah, she debuted those things in San Antonio for us and let different folks model and try stuff on, and then would ask for a survey, of what you
Yeah,
thought. And those are all new items that will be on the market soon.
she
So
is outstanding. She's very savvy in getting
really is.
feedback.
She's the cool chick.
Yeah. She's good. I think we saw her. It was either a Lone Star or it was at the Santa
Gatlinburg.
Family Gathering. We were at
Gatlin is where she was.
Gatlinburg. Yeah.
Speaking of Russell, I know that we were going to wait till towards the end to take questions, but I did see a question earlier since you bring up Lone Stars. One of our viewers tonight was asking if you were going to be at the Lone Star Santa's Roundup this year.
Yeah, I'm just getting back from DC, and I have a Scottish Society meeting on Sunday of that weekend. So I probably won't make it, and it breaks my heart because I actually planned to be down there, and I probably would have taken my pipes too, but unfortunately not this year. I love being around those people. I love my Lone Star Santas, and I love being part of that, and it's a great organization. But unfortunately not. I promise I try to get there as often as I can to any of the events, the Convoy of Toys. If you don't know about that, go to Lone Star Santa's website and find out about that, because that's a year-round thing, and it is an awesome thing to be a part of. Donating toys, putting them in the trailers, and heading down the road to help bring smiles to those children. It is really an awesome thing.
They've already started working on submissions to the Panhandle of Texas where the fires have broken out. I know Jim had mentioned this last week to come down to his place and help sort through toys and start loading the trailer. So
yeah, and we've got one here over in Weatherford, I think, a warehouse that you can take the toys to. But as I said, go to the website and find out, hey, where can I donate the toys, and they'll direct you.
And our monetary. We take monetary, also in the Lone Star Santas, and it's
Yeah,
LoneStarSantas.org. Lone
yeah,
Star Santas with an S on the end.org.
yeah, for sure, for
All right,
sure.
Scott, over to you, brother.
Well, switching gears, we hear you are number 9 in the Kloss card series.
Yes.
How is trading going with other Kloss card holders in the Kloss community? And I have mine, and I'm actually number 6.
Look what I've got.
I think I just got number 3, so thank you, number 3. And I think to finish the top 10, I actually need
You got
number.
mine, number 4.
Yep, number 4. I need, is it 7? I think 7, and there's another one.
You probably need. Do you have mine, Russell?
Which number is yours?
6.
I do need 6, actually. I think I still need yours. I'll check.
Okay,
Do a
I'll
little
get together and
trading.
swap then.
I've got about like 20 cards now, so it's been great trading. So we get 500 of them. I would like to see 500. I don't know that we'll have 500 Santas that get them, but if I don't have your card, PM me and I will mail it to you. I think Rex Ray is mad at me because I did send him one and it got lost in the mail. So I will send Rex, if you're listening, I will send you a card. I promise. You will have one.
He's been busy with family stuff last couple of weeks, so he
Yeah.
may not be on tonight. But
Yeah. So, although I will say this, when we were at Gatlinburg, he tried to steal my lightsaber candy cane.
yeah,
So,
I remember that. That.
Yeah. So anyway, he'll be happy to
All
know though that my wife plugged it in and it got burnt up. So there we go. I don't even have it anymore. I have to get another one.
So I'll double down on what Russell just said. If you're in the Claus card series, you've gotten your cards already, you want to trade either with me, Scott, Russell, or anybody that has cards. Deanna's number 7. Rex, I think, was number 5 or 6. I don't remember exactly, but
Rex is
9.
5.
Okay. So anyway,
Russell's 5.
reach out to any of us and let's trade. That's what they're all about.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I don't mind sending. And thanks for the question.
All right, at this point, let's take a short breather right here, give you a chance to kind of relax for a minute, and we're going to go over to Spangle's product announcement. We'll be back in a few moments after this.
It's okay. I'm good.
That's the new one for 2024. We had used the old one a couple of years and decided to make a new one. We debuted that one last week. It's it's fun. It's always fun to poke fun at Spangle. So all right, so we're going to go to the Showstopper special at this point, and for the Showstopper special for this week, Scott's going to handle that since he's taking Spangle's place.
Well, this week the Showstopper special is going to be a North Pole edition auto plate, and if you win the trivia, we'll send you one of those. If you spend $20 and buy a second one, we'll give you the third one free. That way, you'll have all 3 sets on your vehicle. And let's see, what else was that correct there, Bob? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think the Showstopper special was a special product code, wasn't it?
Oh yes. Okay. Well, maybe I made. Is there another trivia?
Well, yeah, we got trivia coming up, but right now we're doing the Showstopper.
Okay, Showstopper. Okay, so I'm confused. I'm not Spangle. What can I say? So the Showstopper special is 15% off on anything on the website. So you already know what the next trivia is going to be, right?
Yeah. So anyway, Showstopper special is 15%. Go over to the website, put in, what is it, TNL?
TNL in capital letters, 15.
15, and that'll get you 15% off anything that Spangle sells on the website. Now then, we're going to move along to the next portion. We'll be right back again.
Boy, I made that one right, didn't I?
Oh, hello there. Yes, of course, it's me, Santa Claus. Now, you may not believe this, but one of the questions I get asked the most is, well, not how do I do it all in one night? No, but where do I get all my things from? Yes, now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the finest things I have. My glorious gloves, all my knickknacks and trinkets and things. Yes, all the giveaways. Yes, for me to give to the children before the main event. Yes, if I see them in the streets, if they come and see me, I like to have something in my pocket I can treat them with. Yes, and there's one special place where I can find all these magical goods. And that is, of course, stuffforsanta.com. You should head there now and see what magical gifts you can find. Mrs. Claus, have you got my ice pad? Yes, log me on. I'm going to have a look. I shall see you there. Stuffforsanta.com. Merry Christmas.
All right. Also new for 2024. Another little fun poke at Spangle. All right. Now we're to trivia question number 2, Scott. So take it from here.
Okay. Well, let me go back and remind them that the Showstopper special was capital T, capital N, capital L, 15 for the Showstopper special, 15% off everything on his site. Now, here is trivia number 2. Commonly known as a blank and a traditionally made out of wood with 2 parallel narrow strips is referred to as a blank and has origins moving goods and people along the frozen ground or tundra. I'll give you a little clue. It shares its name with a red wagon. Commonly known as a blank and traditionally made out of wood with 2 parallel narrow strips is referred to as a blank and has origins moving people, goods and people along the frozen tundra and ground. And that's the trivia question. And the winner will receive, like I said before, a North Pole edition car emblem, vehicle emblem. And if you'll buy a second one for $20, he'll send the third one. So you'll have all 3 with it.
Sounds good, Ann. There are multiple names for the first blank. So it doesn't matter which one you use, just use which other one you come to first. And I already see a couple of those coming up on the comment boxes. So very good. All right, so let's move along here. Moving on to the second half of tonight's program. Let's continue our conversation with our featured guest, Mr. Russell Hurd.
Hi, everybody. And I just wanted to say thank you, Scott Parker, for those gracious comments. I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you.
And it's good to see Parker back on tonight. Haven't seen him on the last couple of weeks. I don't know if he forgot that we were starting or if he's been busy, but it doesn't matter. He's here tonight, and that's all that counts. So.
Yep.
Love you, Parker.
I still have my belt, and it gets a lot of kudos, man. Everybody loves that belt buckle.
Well,
all right, over to you, Spangle.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be nice. On this show, we like to bring light to situations you might have find yourself faced with, and this topic is such. What has been your most serious moment as Santa?
This was kind of what we talked about earlier, but
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah, being, it's the embarrassment and, serious one when somebody especially confronts you, especially in the restroom or anywhere else as Santa. It could be even as you're leaving, and I have been followed actually to my car from leaving a performance, especially at a mall or places like that. You have to be careful. Make sure you're situationally aware. You park somewhere that is going to be safe for you to get to and from. But having said that, it was a lighted parking area at one of the malls, the Galleria actually, that we had fortunately it didn't amount to anything, but in that instance, I just turned around and went back inside the mall because they were following me, and I'm like, we can't do this. And so I just went back to security and waited until they left, or had one of them escort me, because you just don't want to have to, as Santa, you don't have to defend yourself, because they're like, again, people are watching, and it's just not very professional. But you have to be safe too. So park where you can. Sometimes you can't always get to that good spot, but if you feel you're being threatened or challenged in a way, just make sure you go in a lighted, well-lit area with a lot of people.
Yeah, and especially for the ladies now,
Yeah.
not only us guys, but ladies. If you go to an event and you're a standalone Mrs. Claus, or even if you are with other folks and you feel like your surroundings is not right, or you just don't take any chances. Always call security if there's security available. If not, call anybody, the police department, somebody, but get them to walk you to your car if that situation ever arises where you feel uncomfortable, or like you're threatened, or something's wrong. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that would be the most thing. Anytime your person or your property or anything like that is jeopardized or going in harm's way, you just want to protect yourself and your things and those that are with you, because like you said, it could be you, Santa, and elves, or somebody else. You just want to be as safe as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did the right thing. Try and go back in where
Yeah.
there's other people, other crowds, people that you can go to, and that way
Right.
you don't get yourself caught in
And
person.
I'm a 22-year military veteran, and I know I could have handled myself, but why take that chance? It's not worth it to, one, not portray yourself in the right way as Santa, and then put yourself in harm's way. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
In our St. Bob's classes, we have a whole chapter on scenarios that happen to performing Santas. And can you imagine the headlines the next day?
Mm-hmm.
If you take matters into your own hands, Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
yeah, you just don't want that. And trust me, I've been into places where, that thought has come to my mind. I just don't want to be, me personally, I don't want to be that Santa that brings the community down because I did something. Yeah, I defended my life, and ultimately that's a good thing, but it jeopardizes it for so many of us in the community that I'm that guy, that
Boy,
brought
that
shame
is-
to the community, and you just don't want that.
Yeah.
You just don't want
All right.
that.
So
And there's
moving
so many
on
ways
to a more jolly note. What's that, Russ?
no, it's just there's so many ways to de-escalate that and protect yourself in the community. Yeah.
Exactly. So moving on to a more jolly note, share with us some of your best experiences as Santa. I know you've got some of those because I've heard about them. So
Yeah. So I think one of my top-notch ones is the We Are Santa book, which is still out there for sale, and the money does go to the Children's Hospital in Colorado. So I think all the proceeds still go there. It's still out there, and it's a great book. It has a lot of the well-known Santas from around the United States. Ron Cooper traveled the United States and got what he felt were the top ones from everywhere, and I just happened to make it. Lucky me, I just right place, right time, I guess. So that's really cool. Man, it's hard to nail down so many great things. I've had a lot of great experiences. I think that's the top one. I think that's the top one for me. Oh, and of course the wedding. Being able to share my talents with the rest of my brothers in red, that just meant so much to me to do the wedding, and then being a part of the Gordon's thing. I mean, it was a low thing, but it was a high thing to be able to do that. Those are some of the ones that all the memories that if I wrote a memoirs, those would be those at the top. You know, he was a mentor, and I got to send him home. You know, as sad as that is to remember, but it was an honor to do that. So,
and now that you mentioned that, Russell, you know, let our viewers know that at Russell's memorial service, you play the bagpipes as we walked across the street, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
The last sleigh ride bell ceremony, and you know, it was really touching, and you know, we appreciate that. I appreciate us being able to observe that and be a part of it.
And that poem is out there. It's called "The Last Sleigh Ride," and it's a great poem. If any of us can send it to you, or you can find it. Just look up "Last Sleigh Ride," and it should be out there. It's a great poem, you know, for any of that wants to see it and know about that. And I'm sure there's videos of somewhere of us doing the ceremony, right, Bob? Somewhere.
Yeah, I think we got that on tape, and I'm pretty sure we did. But anyway,
if we could find it, we could probably put it up.
I know that several people had their cameras out, so I don't know if we shared that on TNL or if in our coverage that we did or not. I don't remember, but
maybe at his annual memorial or something, you could put that up there or something. I don't know. That's just an idea, but yeah, for sure. And just some of the incredible people that I've met, mentors like Gordon. There's the brothers Claus. There's, I mean, so many. I mean, it would take a long time to mention all the people that have helped me become the professional that I am today. And organizations like iBurbs out there. I mean, there are just so many great organizations. Clan Claus. There's the schools that we go to. I mean, there's a lot. What is it? Northern Lights. That's another one. And then SoCal Santas. There's another one. Lone Star Santas. They're out there. There's a lot of great people that have been doing this for so many years. And I would suggest, if you're not a part of any of those groups, to find one near you, and just pick their brains, and learn what you can from them, because there's a lot of amazing people out there that can help you and shape you and become the Christmas performer, whether it's Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, an elf, or whatever. And for me, being a Santa Claus, what I've done in the last couple of years, I did some research on Mrs. Claus, and there are actually a lot of movies that have Mrs. Clauses in them. My favorite one is Mrs. Santa Claus with Angela Lansbury. That's got to be the quintessential Mrs. Claus movie for me. But there are certainly the Santa movie from the 80s that has a Mrs. Claus in it. So, there's a lot of really good resources out there. You just have to look for them and find them. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Russell, let's talk about your wardrobe.
Hang on a second, Scott. Scott, hang on just a second. Need to go back to the trivia question again. Let me get that in there real quick so folks can be working on it. StuffForSanta.com, trivia question that Scott asked a few moments ago. We're still looking for the second blank. And he gave you a clue that it was shared its name with a red wagon. Remember the little wagons that we all pulled around when we were kids that were metal that, you could get in and ride and stare. And if you'll remember, it had a special name on it. It's two names. Starts with R, the first name. The second one started with an elf. The elf is what we're looking for. So if anybody can come up with that, we've seen rider used a couple of times. That's not the word we're looking for.
That's a gun.
I believe someone just put it up. Tanya put it up. So, all right, fantastic. If you just use that though, you got to have both blanks, Tanya. So get both of them in there real quick. Got to have both names to win it. All right. Thanks, guys. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry. I didn't
All
mean
right.
to interrupt you. I just thought it was important to go ahead and get that working while we had a chance.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely, Bob. Let's talk about your wardrobing. How many
All right.
suits do you own, and tell us about each one.
Oh my goodness. All right. So my very first one was a Halco suit, and I looked like a red Shar-Pei. And I was so glad to give that to a newer. I had it for like a couple of years, and there was a new Santa. Very first year, he said, "Hey, can anybody help?" And I said, "Yeah, here's a suit." So I donated my Halco suit to them. I was glad to be rid of that. I learned quickly that if you can get your hands on or be around a good seamstress, they're worth their weight in gold. So for me, I like the Coca-Cola Santa look, and so I base all of my traditional Santa suits off of that. Excuse me. I have like 4 or 5 of those Coca-Cola Santa suits with varying designs and stuff like that. I am the Roy City Santa, aka the Scottish Santa or Celtic Santa, and so in my look, I like the Celtic knotwork in there somewhere. And Chrissy Kovic, Costume Magic, she's working on a new one for me that's going to be awesome. I'm gonna, when she's done with that, I'll spring that on everybody. But it's looking outstanding, and I will give you a clue. It has no fur in it, but it's going to be awesome. So I have that stuff, and of course I have the 2 Santa kilts, and I have, a red jacket that goes with the kilt and a traditional black jacket and different sporrans and all the Scottish stuff that goes with that stuff. I have at one time somebody early on, thought I was going to be a cowboy Santa because it's Texas. So I have a red duster with a red cowboy hat, boots, and I have that whole cowboy look, of course. And I would say if you're going to be a Texas Santa, you might want to have one of those handy because you'll use it at some point. And let's see. Actually, I think my most interesting one, I actually gave my martial arts outfit. I patterned it after my Santa suit, so it was red with white trim, and it was Taekwondo. And so I don't do that anymore. And so I folded it up and I gave it to the master, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" He was like, "I've never seen a Korean guy with round eyes before," but he was like, "What?" he was pleasantly surprised, and it meant a lot to be able to give that to him because I don't do martial arts training wise anymore. I do know it though. It's how you keep the elves in line. So that's about it. I've got outfits. I have like 4, 5, 6, 7. I have about 8 outfits, and of those 8, you can mix and match and change and have like a whole wardrobe of outfits. And if you're doing it for any length of time, you're going to acquire those. And I would say just starting out, maybe you might want 1 or 2 because, your first couple of years, you don't know if you're going to last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You'll know in the first, it's like a business. If you can stand it the first 5 years, then yeah, go ahead and, build your wardrobe and the thing for the things that you want to do. I mean, where I'm at now, as you want something that you can wear during the day, something that I didn't think of, but you might want to think of is a suit that you can wear when you're making cookies with the kids. Like if you have a cookie making thing, you want an outfit that can withstand that or not withstand that. You know what I mean? That's going to be your cookie making outfit. Certainly something that you want for a corporate gig or something that you're going to wear on a parade. So you want basically a high fashion Santa, something for that, or as high fashion as you can go. I'm not saying break the bank, but you need to be prepared for that if you're in it 5, 10, 15 years and everywhere in between, from your working shop, where you're. And I have this look. I just have my red pants that I would normally wear, boots. I have a apron that Ron Lane made for me. I think it was Ron Lane. Yeah, it was Ron Lane. He made a apron that had Santa on it, and it's a really heavy duty apron. And just like your your dress white shirt or a white shirt, like a Renaissance shirt, basically. Something that looks Santa-y, but it's dressed down so that if you got it messed up, you'd be okay. And you want all these different things because you want to be diverse, because you don't want to be one dimensional where you're only in the mall. Whereas you want to be able to, like, for instance, if you're doing commercials, if you're lucky enough to be able to do commercials, you want to have a different look and, go in any direction that they're ready to go to. So having a diversity of suits is for the Santa, I would say, in their 5 to 10 years, that's going to take it on and make a career out of it. If you're in your first 5 years, I would say keep it simple.
Well, something that was brought up on the Monday show yesterday with me and Randall, and it was brought up by Jeff McMullen, that a lot of Santas don't put back a percentage of what they earn each year to upgrade their costuming, and that is very important.
Yeah.
Can't everybody go out and buy 8 or 10 or 12 suits to start with, as you're
For sure.
mentioning? Start off slow, work your way up. But if you just put back 20, 25% or some number each year of your earnings, then you can spend that towards your upgrading your costuming. And that's a great way of doing it, because it doesn't break the bank. You still have what's left over to, do the other things you need to do. But a great way to upgrade your costuming. And it is important to be diverse and have different outfits, different ways, mix and match, as you mentioned. Great points all the way across the board.
And same thing for Mrs. Claus, because she needs to be as diverse as you. And I would say, when you're thinking about saving and putting that money for your outfit, it depends also if you're traditional beard or real beard. You need to save money for that as well too, because eventually those traditional beards wear out, and get makeup on them, and if you wear makeup, and that changes too. Are you going to be in a high definition picture, or are you going to be outside all day? You're outside all day, you might not necessarily wear a lot of makeup. You might wear some so it keeps the shine off or whatever. But again, it depends on what you're doing. Like I was at Clyde Warren Park a couple of times this year, and it was outside and the sun was in our face, and it was only cell phones that were taking pictures. I'm not wearing makeup for that. There's no way you're going to get me in makeup for that. Right. And that's okay.
All right, so we're going to move along here. Is there a gig, and you mentioned this earlier about a parade, but is there a gig or an experience that you haven't done as Santa that you're hoping to do in the near future?
Well, my bucket list, and I would probably say this is might be that for anybody else, but I would love to be the New York City Macy's Santa. That would be a bucket list thing.
I think everybody would.
I may never get that, but I'm going to prepare myself for that. I might like to be the White House Santa. That would be awesome to do that. But there's a certain thing, and you have to be prepared to do, and that there's a whole long list for that. But for me, locally, and if I could get Mitch Allen to step aside one year to be in the Dallas parade.
Not gonna happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen either. But a parade, I don't care where it's at, to be honest. I mean, just to have that experience, it would be fine. I wouldn't care where it is, but some of those things. I would like to do, maybe if it happens that I could do a commercial, that would be fun too.
Yeah, I got to share one thing about the Dallas parade. Of course, it's a broadcast parade, like many of them are across the country, and it's a big deal here in Texas. And the Santa, this has been a number of years ago, but there was a Santa that had a traditional beard, right, and mustache, and he had one of those big overblown mustaches on. And just as he gets to where the film crew is, which is always usually where the host of the show or the folks who are narrating the show, which is usually one of our local news channels, is setting. They put the camera on them and they talk about that, Santa's coming to town and blah, blah, blah. And about the time they went in with a close up, the mustache went poop.
Oh, no.
And he reaches up and he kind of stick it back on and continue to wave. And the next thing you know, it goes bloop again. And the TV crew cut away from him about that time. But I thought to myself, my kind of luck, if I had traditional, that might happen to me.
At least the beard didn't fall down. I mean,
proper adhesive. But that'll stick in my mind forever.
Yeah. My next question, I think you pretty much answered, Russell. But the question would be is, what would you say your dream job is Santa? And I guess be the White House or the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, I think even Macy's Dallas, if they did something like that. I mean, to sit at Macy's would be. I don't even know if they have a Macy's Santa in Macy's. I mean, I guess that would be, one of those. I guess a high profile thing would be something to as a goal, as a bucket list thing, or thinking outside the box, going international, being a Santa somewhere in Dubai, or my dream job to be overseas would be England and be Father Christmas there. But I don't know. There's too many slots for that. But something like that, or being Santa in Lapland and Finland, that would be really cool.
Pretty cool
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
There's a lot of
yeah.
guys that probably would love to have that one also.
Yeah.
Okay, so Russell, great job, brother. Stick with us here because we're gonna kind of jump into the next segment of the show here. We have a brand new segment. Speaking of segments, that we're going to run. It's called North Star segment, and it's from Jessica Rosa, and we're going to do it right here, and we'll be back on the other side.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Welcome to the wonderful world of gig working, freelancing, independent contractor, or commonly referred to as self-employed. For the sake of clarity, a gig worker or freelancer is someone who works on a per job, per task, short-term, work for hire basis. If you earn more than $600, especially while working for a company, you might be sent a 1099 form. In 2020, the IRS overhauled the 1099 forms, where employment is now its own category. It's good to have a W-9 form on hand physically and electronically. A W-9 form is commonly used to provide your taxpayer identification information by the person filing or reporting your income. This is such as your Social Security number and your physical address. It's important to know that the IRS sees all independent earners as self-employed, and it is your responsibility to pay your own withholding taxes for state and federal governments. This means you pay more in taxes because typically employers split these taxes with their employees. So this tax is commonly referred to as the self-employment tax. There are definite positive and negatives to being a freelancer. Negatives are you'll pay more in taxes because employers typically pay half of your federal and state taxes. No employer benefits, such as group health insurance, and no 401k plan or matching. And then there's also the uncertainty of ongoing work. The pluses is creative control and ownership of your work and products, potential for work-life balance, a flexible work schedule, and you could make more money. As a gig worker, it's important to stay motivated to predict or determine your income flow. During slower times of the year, you might have to pivot to a part-time job, temporary work, or make sure you put a little money away in order to get you through the lean times. This has been a North Star segment. I'm Jessica Rosa with Holiday Photo Magic, hoping to illuminate your path for success. Thank you to TNL Productions for inviting me to be a part of the live stream. If you would like to continue the conversation about this North Star segment, I invite you to visit or join my Patreon page where I will be expanding the segment's topic on Wednesdays. A special thanks goes to all my patrons, as your monthly contribution greatly helps me, especially in between jobs. I could not survive without your support, and I'm very grateful. Until next time, keep shining.
Wow. Lots of good information, Jessica.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Jessica.
Hi.
Uh,
Russell. I just want to
All
go.
right, so before we dive into what your segment was about there, let's go ahead and do the trivia. That way we can have folks working on it.
Okay.
And that way Angie can be watching for an answer there. And then we'll come back and talk more about what you just said.
Okay. I didn't have it queued up. So let me get it queued up here this take me a second. Okay. Here's my trivia. How many ghosts visited Ebenezer Scrooge in the Christmas Carol?
It's on screen for you.
Oh, yep. I got it here too. I was looking down. So again, it's how many ghosts visit Ebenezer Scrooge in the Christmas Carol?
Fantastic. All right. So tell us more about your segment and what you're going to be doing this year on the Tuesday Night Live show.
Well, I have a lot of people that will ask for advice on, I've been doing some consulting over the last couple of years, and I have a lot of people that will ask me questions about the business side because I've been a self-employed worker for 3 decades. So this gives me a chance to be able to share some of that knowledge, and then we can expand on the topic for those that have a lot of questions. Because I think it was even brought up yesterday. Matter of fact, I watched the Bob and Randall show because it's a wonderful show. And when I watched the show, there was someone there that was talking about the tax side of unemployed or being self-employed, and that is what I will expand into when we do when I talk about the segment on my Patreon page. I'll talk more about the actual self-employment tax, but this way it kind of helps people to better understand it, because sometimes when you talk to professionals like the CPAs and the bookkeepers, it just kind of goes right over your head because it's a lot of information. And I just break it down to a very simple explanation that hopefully is really useful.
Fantastic. And again, like you said, over on your Patreon page, you're going to continue the conversation on Wednesdays for anyone who wants to join over there and check out what the conversation is all about. Be a great idea. All right, so great information there. We're glad that you and I had talked over the off season about stepping things up and doing something different this year for you. And I think it's been a great idea, and I love all the different topics that you've already submitted to me. I think everyone should get a lot out of this segment every other week. Correct?
Yeah,
Every
we're going to try to, it's a little much for me to do every week. And, whereas every other week is really good. And then I'll still be coming on live once a month to do the trivia question. Now, the trivia question, I'm going to, last year I gave people options, and that really got overwhelming for me to keep track of, because I could, was trying to keep track of who won. And then I would reach out and say, well, I need to get this together. I need to get this together. So this year I decided to just do the one option. And that way it just makes it super easy. I just need kind of a good headshot photo, maybe your logo and your basic information, and I will create you a social media ad. I think I did some last year for you for TNL. Graphic design is a big part of what I also do. I do a lot of design for like Spangle. I love you. I love that you love my claws cards. That's me.
For those who don't know, Jessica is the one that puts those together, and
I
of course
designed it. Yeah.
Yep.
Jessica, I may need you to do me a card for my Knights of St. Nicholas, for the Knights of St. Nicholas logo, and on the back have the Santa oath and everything. So I'll get with you about that later.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And and just to let you know, by the way, I'm up to 39 people have purchased the Claus card.
Wow.
And Spangle sent me, I think he said that he had another 5 or 6 that signed up. So we're, this has been out for, I want to say a month.
Yeah.
A good month,
Probably a
maybe
month,
a month
yeah.
and a half.
So yeah, maybe 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're already almost up to 50 people. So,
Wow.
so I think you're going to go through those 500 way faster than
Might
you
do it.
think it's going to happen.
That would be a good thing. I mean, for you, for sure, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that's wonderful about the Claus cards. If anybody's asking, I mean, I know you all have yours, you can show, but the Claus card isn't about creating a contact card. Okay, this is not for your patrons, your clients, or even for the children. What it's for is for us, our community.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of time, I think when people go to events, they're a little intimidated to say hello to someone, or they're, it took me a while, and I'm just going to be honest about this. It took me a while to kind of see the distinguishing features of everybody, to recognize who is who, because y'all look like Santa. So, and although there's different voices and stuff like that, but in all honesty, it's the Claus cards are a way to recognize people individually. On the back side of the card is their real name, because a lot of times we know the first person's name. Yeah, we don't know their last name. We don't know where they live. I also included, what's your favorite things? What are some things that you like to do? Because when you get that card and you see, you'd be like, oh, wow, I didn't know Russell likes to sing. I mean, I do know, but,
I do.
but, or that you play the bagpipes, there's just those kind of things that you may not know to ask, or know that you have a common bonded. So that's why the Claus cards are awesome, because you can wear your little lanyard when we go to our events, and you can walk up to somebody and say, hey, can you want to swap Claus cards? And it just opens up a conversation. So, and it's not expensive. It's $106 with, shipping and everything, and you just have to send me a good quality photo and your information, and we're able to put it together for you. Now,
It'd be a great idea.
Really happy about that.
It'd be a great idea is at one of your events where there's like a new Santa or something, get the first 50 Santas and put them in a deck and give that to like the first Santa, a new Santa that's out there, that like in a contest or something that they've won or something. I think that'd be a great idea.
That's something that would be really neat. The hard part is that they're directly shipped to clients, so we don't have a photograph or we don't have a copy of the card. Like Spangle actually has to have them send them the card.
You know what though? I mean, but see, that's a great thing to gather the community. You could do it with the first 25. Hey, send us your card. We want to give your cards to like a new Santa to promote these, but then promote ourselves and then introduce them to the community. And that way they're not so intimidated. They have at least 25 or 50, however many you want to do, in a deck to look through, and they're all over the United States. So, it would be a great thing for Mrs. Claus too, or whoever, But
we have elves that have been like Phineas is on there.
Yeah.
We have Wingnut, I think is the. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me see what, because see this. Yeah, this is the book. Hold on. It's Wingette. Wingette is her name, and that's Erica Minton. So we have elves, we have Mrs. Clauses. It's great. It's just a lot of fun, and and it's about fellowship, making friends, and fostering that fellowship. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, Scott, you got the next one there?
Yeah, I just have one quick question for Jessica, though, before we run away. It's kind of off the subject a little bit, but is Barry still upset with Steve? Are you?
Okay. All right. He's kind of he doesn't know I went to Cornerstone without him.
Oh, wait till Steve tells him in Branson.
Yeah, I'm afraid about that. I don't think he's listening to me. The elves are kind of distracting him right now, but yeah.
Well, I just thought I'd ask. Anyhow, guys, let's go to our viewers to see what they have, if they have any questions or comments this evening.
I wanted to say real quick,
and grab these starred comments real quick. What is it, Russ?
I just want to say, Deanna said, asked me how Fiona was doing. Fiona's doing well. Thank you for asking. She loves being her elf, and she's got a new elf outfit that's coming, and we'll show that in due time. But thank you, Deanna, for asking. She's doing well.
And you guys went to an event this weekend. I think she was doing some dancing.
Well, actually, she was actually helping out with this Scottish Society of Dallas. She actually had a working weekend this weekend, and she goes, "Daddy, is this what it's like to work?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "I don't like it," because she had to go to school the next day after the whole weekend of working. So I said, "Yeah, sweetie, that's the way it is sometimes." She says, "Am I getting paid for this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not getting paid either." So volunteer work.
As the show has progressed from when we started, Russ, we have asked folks to put in their comments. So going back and picking up some of the earlier comments in the first half of the show, Sean White says, "I feel we are doing what we're supposed to be doing," and this is in reference to being clauses. Holding sick babies for pictures is tough, and sometimes I don't forget. We mentioned that in the first half.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who this one is. All I have is Facebook user. Did you get a chance to check and see? Let me go ahead and read the comment. I'm not sure who it is because all I've got on it is Facebook user. In my contract, it spells out that if I'm changing, I must have a separate facility from the public. The other option is to arrive an hour earlier. And I'm kind of lucky where I'm at to kind of go into a little more detail on that. The mall that I'm at has truck docks that are wells built inside of the building. So I can get dressed in the morning time and my wife pull right up to the door, just 5 or 6 steps from the door. I can step out and go through the door and I'm inside the mall already. So in the back hallways. Now, my first couple of years, I was down there where that dressing room was at the end of the hallway by the public restrooms, and I had to carry a suitcase in and out because that was a room that wasn't locked, and I didn't trust leaving my stuff in there. So I would truck to the mall every morning in my street clothes with a suitcase behind me.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and we got that third year. I said, "Look, this ain't working. We got to do something different if I'm coming back." Okay, so Hal Grant says, "Even when I've been out and about and thought I would have to use a public restroom, I can usually find a business that I can go in, Santa, and ask if they have a private washer I can use. I haven't been refused yet, nearly 30 years. Hey, that's a good point. Who's going to say no to Santa?
That's right.
It's real hard, let me tell you.
Yeah, it is hard.
Tanya Hampson says, who was, by the way, her Santa was in San Antonio with us. Hi. And I love her Southern accent. Our first school was very focused on the certain styles of Santa. North Polk Cornerstones totally made us realize that there really are many versions of Santa, and I think Santa Russell nailed it. Good job, Russ.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And he also says, 2BH is the pipes, man. I want to hear the pipes. Laugh out loud. Now, we got a treat for you in a few moments. Russell's not going to play live, but we do have a tape of Russell on the bagpipes. And for your information, she is from the UK. So, and when I mentioned her Southern Texas accent, it's really a UK accent, but I love it. I mean, I love it listening to her talk. AJ says, "Bob, I need a clause card, so as Scott, and so as Russell. So us three guys, we need to send AJ a card. AJ, if you got your cards already, does AJ have cards, Jessica?"
He doesn't yet, but that's only because he's waiting until School of Santa's to get his photo done.
When he has
But
his food.
but Mom has already said that he can get the Claus cards, so definitely send them to him. He is going to be getting them. He's just got to wait to get the right kind of photo for it.
If he'll PM me
And
his
that'll happen
address,
this July, so
PM me his address and I'll get it to him. So yeah.
okay.
And
Send your address, AJ.
Somebody
Connie,
said that they don't market to other Santas. It's not marketing to Santa. It's just sharing information to say hello to a Santa. It's a way of being able to make friends.
Yeah,
it's introducing ourselves. Hey, here's me.
Yeah.
And conversation starter and a friendly way of getting to know someone else. And
yeah.
It's been fun so far. I can't wait for more folks to get them so we can, for the first time, I had to go buy stamps.
Yeah, I know, right? I have Santa stamps from a couple of years ago, so it was great.
Right. So Rick Maynard says, I have a Christmas kilt. So didn't know that, Rick. Fantastic. Larry Davis, who is here in North Texas with us. He's down in Coppin. Russell, I don't know if you know Larry or not yet. I think you met him at
I think I met him, yeah.
the Texas State Santa luncheon that we had in Grapevine last year. But Larry and Sherry, they came to San Antonio also. He says, Wells Custom Design has a great baker's jacket and hat for baking cookies. Most of the seamsters do have the hats and the coats, the chef coats, and or the apron. So if you're in need of one of those for the cookies with Santa or whatever, be sure and reach out and get you one. I got mine from Little Darlings when Darlene was still alive, and got it from her and Rex, and I love mine. It's great to have for those type of events. Sean says, is there an actual lanyard for the card?
Yes.
We did have lanyards on in San Antonio. Sean, I don't know if you paid any attention because we had I think we were wearing, Scott and I was wearing 3 different ones. We had the TNL, we had the Claus card, and then we had the North Pole Cornerstone one on. But there is a lanyard that you can, I guess Spangle sells them, correct?
Yes, and it says
the,
Claus cards.
Claus card on the strap. There you go. Russ has got his right there.
I think
reach out to Spangle and get you one of those, and then of course the card holders. I think he's got some card holders coming, but I also saw where I think it was Liz and Tracy had just a regular binder, 3-ring binder with the baseball card slip in, see through plastic that went in there that they're using. So be creative and let's see. AJ says, Bob and Scott, I'll pick it up in Branson. Just remind me so I don't forget. Fantastic. Sounds good.
We got to remember.
All right. So we have any questions for Russell or Jessica on her project that she's working with here? If we don't, and if you do, go ahead and put them in. If you don't, we're going to go ahead and jump along and reveal tonight's trivia answers. We're starting to run kind of long here. So let's move along.
Real quick.
Yes.
The Clan Claus, Tartan, the Claus of North Pole, and Santa's Workshop are restricted. You have to be a member of Clan Claus to get those, but it's like $25, $30 membership, and that's a lifetime. It's a one-time deal. You're a member, and then you can get it.
Great. Okay, so revealing tonight's trivia answers. Do we have a winner for the first one?
We have winners for all 3.
Have winners for all 3. Fantastic. Boy, I was beginning to sweat it because I haven't had much luck this year. I've been making the questions too hard, and Jessica's was pretty easy. That's the kind that Angie likes, the easier one. So anyway, schoolofsantas.com, blank, also known as North Star, lies about blank above the North Pole. The North Star remains stationary above the northern axis year-round, serving as an essential navigation marker. The answer there is Polaris. That's what is known as the North Star. The technical name is Polaris. And the correct answer was 433 or 434. Depends on location of the Earth, axis, blah, 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 yada, 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 as we said yesterday. Light years away. And our winner was?
Miss Connie.
Connie. Fantastic. Connie Bayless wins that one. your name gets to go in the hat for the scholarship. So you and AJ's got a couple of scholarship tries that are coming. Fantastic. Okay, so moving along to stuffforsanta.com, commonly known as the blank and traditionally made out of wood with two parallel narrow strips, is referred to as blank and has origins moving goods and people along the frozen ground or tundra. What we were looking there for was sleds, sleighs, sledges, toboggans. Those are all commonly known, and it refers to, as we gave the clue of the little wagon, the radio flower. They're referred to as flowers. Winner?
Tanya Hampson.
Tanya Hampson gets that one. Fantastic. I can just hear her now in her southern accent again. Yeah.
Yay!
All right, so we'll get your emblem going out to you, and again, that'll be coming from stuffforsanta.com, Spangle. All right, Jessica, I'm gonna let you do yours.
Okay. My question was, how many ghosts visited Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? Who's our winner?
Who's our winner?
Scott Becker.
Scott Becker.
Yay!
Scott Becker.
All right. Well, I will, Scott, if you can message me, and we'll get together and I'll put together a social media post for you. I just need your contact information and a good photo or logo.
And to clarify on Jessica's answer, the first is Scrooge, who was the former business partner, Jacob Marley, who left him, tells him about the other three spirits that will follow. So that was kind of to give more onto that. Okay, you know what? We talked about the treat with Russell on the pipes. Let's go ahead and run that beautiful bean footage. Here we go.
Happy Christmas, everybody.
And happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Absolutely. Fantastic, man. It's just something about the bagpipes, and I know you've probably been told this before, and I know others have heard this, but just something about those bagpipes that just kind of gives you that tingly kind of good feel when you play them. So
it reaches down into your soul.
That's right. Amazing Grace. There's just certain songs that the bagpipe just reaches out, grabs you.
Here in Missouri, we have the Johnny Morris says, Bass Pro is one of our biggest employers in the Santa community, but he has Big Cedar and Top on the Rock, and when the sun is literally setting over Table Rock Lake, he will every night. There is a person that comes out and plays the bagpipes. I don't know what the song is. That might be a good trivia question, but I don't know what the song is. But oh my gosh, it is amazing to listen to the bagpipes as the sun sets.
It's the sunset, or if there is a foggy day, a heavy foggy day. It's kind of like Scotland, the mists in the Highlands. The Appalachians are a great place for that, but it's usually a slow air or a pibroch that's being played, and it's a very haunting thing, and it'll just talk about stirring your soul. Yeah, it's really amazing to be able to do that.
It does. It gives you those like you said, that warm feeling, but it also kind of gives you the goosebumps at the same time.
Yeah. It does reach down into your soul, especially if you have Celtic blood. It really does.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, it's
this much Scottish. I'm 13%.
That's good enough.
The rest of it is all English.
How long you been playing bagpipes?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. About 40 years.
And
40 years. Yeah.
To learn how to play them.
Well, actually, it's a cultural thing. My uncle was a piper in the Royal Canadian Air Force, and I used to, when I was in Niagara Falls, I remember seeing the Canadian bands and pipers from the American side and Canadian side. I saw it as a young person. I'm like, I want to do that, and so I did. And I've been in music for just as long. I play other instruments, of course, but and then sing and whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things that's personal to you. I mean, it's like a cultural thing. It's amazing to be able to share that though as well too.
I got to share this with you. Every time I hear the word Niagara Falls, I think of the Three Stooges.
Slowly,
Inch by inch.
Yes, step by step. Man.
All right. You know what? It's time to close the show out. We've had a long show. It's been a fantastic show. Scott, you got any final thoughts over, man?
I just want to thank Russell for coming on, and Jessica for you being here in your new segment, so informative. And Bob, I just want everybody to keep Spang on his prayers while he's on the road headed home.
Yep. Hopefully they'll be there sometime tonight, early in the morning. But yes, he's dragging that big old long trailer of his that we see in the cartoons that we play, and it slows him down just a little bit. But hopefully he'll get here, and he may have to pull over and catch him a nap. Who knows? I doubt that he's going to, though.
I just wanted to thank all. Go ahead. I just wanted to thank all of you for finally our schedules meshing and being able to be on the show. It's been a long time coming, and it's been a pleasure and an honor. And there was an unknown Facebook person that was on there asking me if I'm going to the ISC. I'll be coming back from DC with my daughter. I'm sheepdogging the junior high kids that are going. And then I'm the president of the Scottish Society, so I have a Scottish Society meeting that Sunday. So I will not be going to the ISC or anything like that. So I do apologize.
Well, TNL Productions will be there, and we'll be covering the ISC. We'll be there for the 4 days. And so if you aren't able to go, you can always catch TNL and Tuesday Night Live and catch up on what the happenings are there. All right, so we just want to say thank you, Russell, and
sure, thank you guys, appreciate it.
There's so many folks out there that would like to be on the show. We hear from a lot of them, but I don't think anybody has grabbed me by the ear more than Russell has. Get me on the show, get me on the show. I got so much to share, and it's good to finally have you on. Great job, man! It was a fantastic show.
I thank you very much.
Great start to season 4. Thank you, Jessica, for coming on and being with us. And you want to tell folks what they need to do, Scott?
Oh, well, you need to join us next week for our next TNL episode, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Can't forget to catch the next Monday show with Bob and Randall and Company, Monday at 3 Central, 4 Eastern. Don't want to miss those guys.
That's right. All right, so I also want to say check out the merchandise over at Fancy Lee's, which helps support the channel. We've mentioned this time and time again. We do have costs associated. If you go over and purchase something, we get a few cents out of it. Doesn't add up to a whole lot, but if enough people does, it could. So anyway, go over and buy you some swag. I want to say thank you to schoolofsantas.com, stuffersantas.com. Even though Spangle's not here, he's always with us in spirit, and we're always promoting what he has going on there. Holiday Photo Magic.com. We got Jessica with us tonight. Thermapparel, we mentioned earlier.com, FancyLees.com, NorthPoleCornerstones.com, Sat Bob, Santa Nana University. We want to say thank you to those folks. Again, remember, we got the YouTube channels. Go over and check them out. Yet, as another show comes to an end, we want to wish each of you happy closing. Tell everyone good night, Scott.
Good night, Scott. In lieu of Spangle.
Julia.
Jessica.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Keep shining.
Remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live each week, 7 p.m. Central, same class time, same class channel. Count your blessings, not your sorrows. May your troubles be small and your blessings be large. Have a blessed week. On behalf of the whole TNL crew, including Jessica, myself, Scott, Spangle, Rex, Melissa Lynn, Randall, and, of course, Angela, our producer. I'm Santa Bob McMaster saying good night. Remember, always let your claws heart shine bright. Never stop learning. Hope to see you right back here on Monday and Tuesday next week. Good night, all.
God bless.
Russ, stick around. We'll see you in the green room. Stick around.
All right. I will. Good night.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.